Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our Saturday morning broadcast, live from Wisconsin, as we go Sheboygan to Green Bay, get the trailer washed out, do a trailer drop and hook, and head on toward Utah. Got about an hour before we reach Green Bay. Got Snowman back up and running. Got the battery replaced, 60 bucks. Back in business. you look at this flag over here on the right, that is the world's tallest and biggest flag, U.S. flag. I actually watched a documentary of them building that. And if you follow me on the map might change. And you have to realize that when I enter the trip information, where we're picking up, where we're going and all of that, Google automatically draws that map for us. But they draw it as if a car was going to do it. And I have to sometimes go in there and add points to make it an official truck route. So that's what those extra pins mean. Those are nothing but waypoints where I can make the map forced to draw it the way a truck would go, if that makes sense. So the trip is just what the words say up at the top. The other map markers you might see will only be a routing or a waypoint to make the map draw correctly. Does that make sense? Now, on this trip, there are several ways we can go, and it may change. Hey, I explained it in the blog a little bit, which might help you. And also, if you read the blog, you can see that a local TV station captured my camera and my buddy's homemade solar filters. My handsome mug, of course, was too goofy to be shown on TV. Now, Wisconsin is known for having crummy cell phone signal, so hopefully y'all get some of it. It might be delayed, but delay is better than nothing, right?
5 miles. Take exit 188 on the right for US 172 West, Ace Travel Airport, and US 32.
Well, welcome to Green Bay, more or less. First thing we need to do is get the trailer washed out so we can drop this trailer. Our trailer was ready last night, so we'll be able to wash the trailer out, swoop in, change trailers, and head on out. Locking up in a few minutes. Hopefully this trailer washout is open. It supposedly is open. up here last night. We had the time. I would have come up here last night, but I don't like this truck stop. It's a very, very run-down, nasty truck stop. Ah. Well, I see the truck wash doors are open. So that's a good sign. We'll get a trailer wash out here. I'll pop in chat in a minute. I hear music. Pop in a chat. How y'all doing this morning? Sparks, I see ya. Maria, I see ya. How y'all doing? Good morning, Robert. How are you doing? Yes, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you. Good morning, Sparks. We're waiting in line at the trailer washout. Good morning, Ken, Harold, Jared. Yep, I've been busy. It's summertime, the busy time of the year, and we'll only be picking up speed as the holidays get closer. So it's make money while we can and keep on going on down the road. Good morning, Martin. How are you doing? Harold, Ken. Yep, we're officially in Green Bay, home of the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, looks like we will be going the way the trip map suggested. So no South Dakota. It is actually a good Saturday morning. Okay, Sparks, that's a good question about the scales they have at the truck stops and the scales they have on the highway. The scales on the highway are official DOT weigh stations. That's where they check your weight, and you better be on target. The truck scales that you see at the truck stops are not DOT scales. They are scales that allow you to check your weight. So you get loaded, you go to the truck stop, check your weight if you need to, and make adjustments. It's you know, if you're overweight or whatever at a truck stop, that's no biggie. That's what the scales at the truck stops are for, so you can check your weight and adjust it as necessary so you become legal. So when you do run over a DOT state scale out on the highway, you are then legal because you already tested and adjusted your weight at the truck stop. So that's what the difference is. Truck stops scales allow you to check and make adjustments. So when you do hit a state scale out on the highway, you are legal. If you don't, and you hit a state scale and you're not legal, you'll be paying an overweight fine. Good morning, Leon. Good morning, Sid. How you doing? That's actually a good question. Yeah, I will show you guys how I do my adjustments on the trailer. Good morning, Leonardo. Good morning to you. Does the super chat donation all go to me or to my channel? Yes, it goes, and of course I could use it to buy a steak dinner. The ads that you see on my YouTube channel page and the ads that play during the stream or during a recorded video, those ads are all belonging to me, and Google pays me a percentage of the revenue for those ads. That's what makes the website get paid for. It costs me about $550 or so a month to run this website. So all the ads and everything are mine. When you make a super chat donation through YouTube, Google holds that and pays me at the end of the month at the same time as I get paid for the ads. So yes, I do get it. Now, if you go to the website and make a donation through the BigRigTravels.com website, I get paid immediately. It immediately goes to my account. If you go through Super Chat and all that stuff, I do get it. I just get it at the end of the month. So yes, I do eventually get it all. Argentina checking in this morning. Do you have to view the ad in its entirety? Yes. You do not have to click on it or anything like that, but you do have to view the ad in its entirety for me to get credit. However, I have been getting word that some of the ads are ridiculously long, and I don't expect you guys to watch them when they're stupid long like that. I mean, you know, use your own discretion. I don't expect you guys to watch all the ads or whatever, take away from your viewing pleasure. But yeah, I get paid if you watch it. Yeah, Texas, I hear, is getting hammered. My parents are up in San Antonio. They may get a lot of rain, but they live up on the hill and all that stuff. They're far enough inland, it won't bother them. I went through Hurricane Opal back in '94 in Florida. Had a hurricane party with me and a bunch of my buddies in Florilla, Alabama. I'll never do another hurricane party again. That Hurricane Opal ruined the Florida coast and took out 1/3 of the trees in Florilla, Alabama. We were without telephone for like a month. This is before cell phones. We were without power or water for more than a week. It was pretty rough. Yeah. So I wouldn't suggest doing a hurricane party, but to each his own. I would have come up here last night, but this truck stop's pretty dismal. The restaurant, well, restaurant leaves a lot to be desired. It's a okay place to park, but that's about it. So that's why we stayed where there was a quick trip where we get food and all that other stuff. Glad to have Snowman back up and running, replace that battery. $60 for that, which ain't bad. The battery lasted 2 years before it decided to explode. The Quick Trip, they don't have a restaurant in there per se, but they do have a lot of good food. A lot of grab your own sandwiches. They have a lot of donuts and cookies and the whole 9 yards. Quick Trip is definitely a good place, and that's why we stayed there last night. Sending a message to dispatch. Mash it! Mash it! Sure, you could eat up a hamburger. They also got onions and pickles and everything else that you could add to whatever you want. What do I normally cook in a truck? I normally eat my sandwiches. Got a cooler with lettuce and maters and all sorts of stuff like that in the truck. So then of course I got my little cooker that cooks and heats up soup and noodles and things like that. Mash it, Jason. What determines if you need a trailer washout? Well, if it's dirty or not. You always want to provide your shippers with a nice clean trailer. I mean, you figure we carry food, so you want your trailer to be nice and clean on the inside. Now, sometimes I could get by with just a sweep out, where I'd take a broom back there and sweep it out. Some places, like this place here, requires a washout receipt before you drop a trailer off at their location. If this place didn't require a receipt, we would be just fine doing a sweep out. No, this is not a blue beacon. This is a mom and pop trailer washout, truck wash. Does your truck do a regen every day? No. I think since I've had this truck, I've done 2 regens on it. Basically, when you're flying down the highway at 55 or higher, it will clean the engine itself, or clean the exhaust stuff itself. So it does it all automatically. When you sit in idle for hours and hours and hours on end, the engine doesn't clean itself, and then you'll have to do a regen manually. How did you pick the right trucking company to work for? Actually, I was going to make a video of that and explain that. It's kind of hard to do all this stuff while I'm driving so much, because at the end of a 12-hour day I'm tired. But basically what I did was, you ignore everything you hear on the internet. Why? Because you have a bunch of crybabies on the internet, to be honest with you. There's all sorts of horror stories about every company out on the internet. A lot of them are one-sided stories. When people complain that a company did this, this, and this, you're usually only getting one side of the story. So you don't want to believe everything you hear out on the internet. If you want to be a truck driver and you want to know who to drive for, do your own research. The way I did that is, I parked at the truck stop, and I would walk up to truckers in the fuel island for different companies, and I would talk to them. How do you like your company? How do they treat you? How do they pay? All of that stuff. Then I'd go back to the truck, write the name of the company down and the good points or the bad points or whatever, and you know, I think I talked to like 20 or 25 different drivers, and that way you get some good views, some bad views, and all that stuff, but you actually get a driver's point of view, several views, and you can make your determination then. Of course, you don't ever listen to a recruiter either. Recruiters tell you all sorts of garbage. So I armed myself with 20, 25 different opinions of drivers, and one company stood out, and despite what others may say about it, they have treated me very, very well. Very well. I've been with them coming up on 11 years, September 6th, with them, and no job is perfect. There are some bad days, but overall, this is probably one of the better companies I've ever worked for. So do your own research, talk to actual drivers, see what they say, and make your decision based on that. Howdy from Russia. Good morning from Kennett, Missouri. How you doing, Steve? Good to see you. Do I think I'll make it to Iowa today? I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how smooth this transfer goes. Good morning, Roberta. How you doing? Yeah, Jason, trucking to me is a good job. It depends. It's not for everybody. A lot of long hours, a lot of frustration. You better like to drive. It's not a 9-to-5 job, but there are different types of trucking. You can do all 48 states like I do. You can do regional jobs, like say where you stay in certain parts of the country. You can do dedicated runs where you go back and forth between the same customer all the time. You could do local jobs where you're home every night. So if you want to be a truck driver, try different ways. See what works best for you. I don't have a family, you know, like wife, kids, whatever. I done sold my house and property and everything else. So I actually live in a truck, so truck driving works great for me. If you have family, kids, wife, house, cars, all that other stuff, you might want to look into a regional truck driving job or even a local job where you get home every night. You got to figure out what works best for you. Yep, if you see I'm getting a trip to Pittsburgh area, you know, send me an email, BigRigSteve at BigRigTravels.com, and you can ask whatever you want. I'm an open book. And of course, if you have dinner, if you wave a steak in front of my face, I'm not going to turn that down if I can. I meet quite a few road crew folks. Not all of them want to be on the blog, and that's fine. Boy, this truck wash sure is slow. $330 to Davenport. Well, we'll probably make it then. I hope we do. And probably maybe even past that. We'll see. Thomas, how you doing? The red light, green light at the state scale houses, there's no real rhyme or reason to it. Mostly we get a green light. There are most places there are scales that we run over on the highway, and if we are really light, then we will automatically get a green light. If we're heavy and we hit that scale too hard, we may show overweight, in which we'll get pulled in. When we get pulled in on that ramp in the weigh station, there's usually another scale, and of course you're hitting that at a slower speed. We might get a green light and bypass through the scale. Other times they may turn that green light bypass system off because they want every truck to go through the scale house regardless, and when they do that, they're usually looking for bald tires or other problems that are obvious with your trailer or truck, and sometimes they do turn it off just simply to make everybody roll through so they can look at you and pull you in for an inspection if they want. So that's why sometimes you go in, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you're not. So it's all up to them, whatever they want to do, if they want to be looking at you or not. How much does it cost for you to idle overnight? I try not to idle. It does cost the company fuel, of course. Depends on how much you have to idle. I do pretty good with my blankets and all that stuff when it gets chilly. When it gets to be super hot and humid, I have to run the AC because I cannot sleep when it's 100 degrees in the truck, obviously. So basically, when you idle a truck, it takes about 1 gallon or less an hour. So you figure $2, $2.50 an hour to keep the drivers cool. Or if it's, you know, if it's 20 degrees outside or something like that, I do have a bunk heater that keeps the bunk warm without running a truck. So I'll use that at times as well. Some people, I don't understand. Some people, it will be beautiful, perfect, 70 degrees, nice breeze or whatever, low humidity, perfect weather, and I have people, or see people in a truck stop idling their truck. To me, that's stupid. That's a pure waste of money. Why have your truck running when you don't have to? But for whatever reason, there are some people that runs their truck all the time. Mash it! Howdy, X-Hood. How you doing, man? I do not have an APU. I could buy one and put on this truck myself, but it has to be my dollar, and I don't get to take it back when I turn the truck in. So it's not a good deal to me. If I was an owner-operator, I could, and I probably would, but since I'm a company driver, I don't see me dishing out $8,000 or whatever it is, and then having to give it up when I turn the truck in. And yes, I do have several fans that I can use in here as well. Well, thank you, Martin. Yes, any book you buy, any item you buy, anything you buy on Amazon using my links does give me a percentage. And when a lot of you guys do that, that really helps. Especially, of course, my biggest revenue from Amazon is during the Christmas holidays. Everybody does their holiday shopping on Amazon, and it adds up very quickly. So I appreciate that. Why did I pick company driving versus owner-operator? I get asked that a lot. To each his own. To me, being a company driver, that means I drive their truck. They pay me. And that's the end of it. If there's a flat tire, they pay for it. If there's mechanical problems, they pay for it. Oil changes, they pay for it. Tolls, they pay for it. All the permits for every state, they pay for it. License plate, tags, insurance, truck payments, everything they pay for, I don't. If I became an owner-operator, the truck is mine. I have to make truck payments. I have to pay for permits. I have to pay for truck computer rental. I have to pay for all my permits for all the states. If the truck has to be towed, guess who pays for it? Me. I pay for every single thing. Plus, since you're an owner-operator, you don't get vacation, you don't get 401k, you don't get medical insurance, you don't get vision, you don't get any benefits whatsoever. And a couple of times I have looked at it. Last year I looked at it just to compare the numbers. If you were to drive 2,800 miles a week, every single week, when you take into consideration all of the benefits or lack thereof, all the tolls you have to pay, the fuel you have to pay for, all of that stuff, when you take everything into consideration, out of 2,800 miles a week, the difference is $200 a week. You'd get $200 more as an owner-operator. But, to me, my insurance is way worth it more. My 401k with the company match and all of that stuff, my medical, my vision, everything else, 3 weeks vacation paid a year, all of that is way worth more than $200 a week to me. And while being an owner-operator may work for some people, it would not be for me. Plus, if I ever decided to go on vacation, I hadn't done it for several years, but gone on vacation for 30 days. I just turn the truck in and call it good. When I get back from my 30-day vacation, get in another truck. If you're an owner-operator, you take your 30 days, you're still paying for your permit, still paying for insurance, still paying for truck payments and all that stuff. To me, being a owner-operator is not even close to being worth it. And then keeping up with all your receipts and what's taxable and what's not taxable and claiming it on your taxes and the whole 9 yards. It's just easier for me to be a company driver. I drive, they pay me. End of story. So, Sparks, I appreciate you buying stuff through Amazon. And I appreciate everybody else too. Yep, working for a company as a company driver does get rid of all the headaches. When the truck breaks down, I call them up and say, your truck is broke down. And they take care of it. If for any reason I'm in a hotel, they pay for the hotel. To me, it's a no-brainer to be a company driver. And I know, there seems to be a division or a rift or whatever you want to call it between the super trucker owner-operators and the company drivers. Well, my opinion on that is, if you place a value on a safe driver only if they're an owner-operator or not, then you're not being very mature about it, because a safe driver is a safe driver whether he's a company or an owner, period. You have some good eggs that are company drivers, you have some bad eggs that are company drivers. And same thing with owner-operators. You have good owner-operators and it works for them, and you also have owner-operators that should not be on the road at all. So, I don't subscribe to this attitude of owner-operators are super truckers and they're better than company. Forget that. I don't play that game. I'm out here doing my own thing, and I don't care what anybody else thinks of me. Period. Y'all got me on my soapbox. I am smart. I appreciate that. I just know what works for me. I do my research. I plan it out. I lay it out. I compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. I think things through. And what I have going for me works for me. Somebody else, a different way might work, and that's perfectly acceptable. To each his own. You have to do what works for you. Period. And you can't listen to what somebody else thinks. Trust me. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans what anybody else thinks of you. You have to do your own thing. I'm not out here for anybody else. I'm out here for myself, making my own money, driving the truck the way I want to, and of course, doing the website and driving for the road crew, taking the road crew around. That's my deal. I mash it and they pay me. Very good, Jason. That's exactly right. And I appreciate Roberta. I try my very best to be a good driver. First, I don't want to run over anybody. Any day that you could shut down at the end of the day and not fill out accident paperwork, that's a great day. So, this line has not moved at all. What's the problem here? How long does it take to wash a truck? Sparks. How much do you make per trip? It depends on how many miles. I get paid per mile, which means I only get paid when the wheels roll. I'm not getting paid to sit here and take care of this trailer washout. I don't get paid to fuel. I don't get paid when the truck is broke. That type of deal. I only get paid when the truck is moving. So I get paid per mile. Yeah, the trailer washout's open. I can see them. Plus, these other trucks are in line. Just apparently, they're shorthanded or really slow. The guy in front of me is a reefer trailer, so he's probably just going to get a washout. It shouldn't take that dang long. Rumor to me selling road crew shirts. Yes, I will make new road crew shirts. It'll be a third generation of road crew shirts. Actually, the fourth generation. All new design to help celebrate the 10 years of broadcasting from the American highway and 10 years of Big Rig Travels. So yes, that rumor is true. I will be selling road crew shirts. Trust me, when the road crew shirts are ready to be ordered, you'll know it. I'll plaster it all over the website and talk about it on the broadcast and the whole 9 yards. You won't be able to miss it. Even if your eyeballs are closed, you won't miss it. Trust me. Yeah, I'll have the good t-shirts. I think y'all like them. All new design. I like, you know, the pay is okay. The pay is all right for me. Like I said, I'm single. I used to have 3 acres, nice house, two dogs, 10 geese, motorcycle, pickup truck, a car. We used to have it all, and I sold it all when I got into trucking, and I make a good living. I probably make more money now than I did ever before in the long run, because I don't have all those expenses that I used to. No, Sparks, you can ask whatever you want to. How much I make and all this other stuff. Not a problem at all. I'll tell you, I make 48 cents a mile as a company driver. And I understand that owner-operators make $1 or $2 or whatever it is a mile, and that's great. But you know, I'm not in it for the money. Because if you're making $1, I don't know, $1.20 or whatever it is a mile, to me it ain't worth it. If I have to pay for car or truck payments, insurance payments, bobtail insurance, tow bills, all this other mess, if I have to mess with all that stuff, it's not worth it. I would rather make less. I'll give you an idea. How's this? I put 59% of my paycheck into my 401k, and I max out my 401k every year. That shows how I'm doing trucking. So you can make your money. It's just how much headache do you want? I take pride in my company truck as much as an owner-operator would take pride in his truck. It just financially, it works best for me. Do I miss my old house? Yeah, I do. I miss my 3 acres. I loved my 3 acres. I loved planting my trees and playing in my garden. I liked the regularity of working 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day and all this other stuff. But I get to see the country now. I get to see way, way more and travel more. And that's what I do. I've always loved traveling. I've always loved driving. What brand pickup did I have? Well, I used to always have Chevys. The Chevy pickups. Then, in 1994, when Dodge came out with their all-new Dodge Ram, I fell in love with that truck. And so I bought it. And I had a 1994 Dodge pickup. And then I had a 1998 Dodge pickup. First one was black, second one was red. I loved them both. The company does give me matching funds on my 401k. I think it's 50% of the first 6% or something like that. But it's better than nothing. You know, like I say, I max it out every year. Plus, I get a few bonuses here and there depending on how many miles I drive in a month and whatnot. So between the bonuses and like health insurance, to me, health insurance is important. A couple years ago when I got that pneumonia really bad, and I spent 11 days in a dang hospital. The hospital bill for that was over $100,000. I think it was $115,000 or something like that. My out-of-pocket expense was $5,000. So, you know, hopefully you don't ever need health insurance. Well, you need it, but hopefully you don't need, you know, to be hospitalized or whatever. But if something came up, it's good to have it. Like I said, a couple years ago when I had that pneumonia that stuck me in the hospital for 11 days. Some of the older road crew might remember. The hospital bill for that was over $100,000. Yet my cost was $5,000. So you can't beat that with a stick. I don't care who you are. My deductible is, oh, I don't remember what it is each thing, but the maximum I pay out of pocket before was $5,000, and I upped the insurance because it was only like $10 more a week or whatever it is. But now my maximum out-of-pocket expense is $3,500 a year, regardless of what happens. You can't beat that. And like I said, it's just me. Your situation might be different. I know a lot of people try to do, quote unquote, exactly what I do. Well, you can't copy me. You can't copy anybody else. You have to be your own person, do your own thing, do what works best for you, regardless of what it is, trucking or your own personal life or whatever. You can't copy anybody, because then you're not being yourself, and you have to do what's best for you in your own situation. What is the average life of a truck? As a company truck, they turn it in and wholesale it at 500,000 miles. Right now, we're sitting at 203,000. But if you're an owner-operator, you can run it up into the millions. Millions of 1, 2 million miles or whatever, depending on how well you take care of your truck. What gives here in front of you? I don't know what you mean, what gives here in front of me. Other than this line where nobody's moving. I don't get it. I still see the same guy in the bay from when we got here. So I don't know if they have just like one person washing or what. Customers already calling asking where I'm at. Man. If I had known this, I would have just swept the trailer out myself, but I can't back out. Do I wish I could go faster than a 60 or 62 I'm governed? You know, sometimes I guess I have wished I could go a little bit faster, but on the other hand, I just set the cruise and go at 60, 62. Don't ever have to worry about a speeding ticket. So I know on the CB I get yelled at quite a bit for being in a slow truck, but I don't care. It's not my equipment. It's not up to me to go altering the equipment or whatever. If they don't like me going slow, too bad. They can pass me just like anybody else. It is what it is. May not be optimal, but they picked that because supposedly that's the sweet spot for the best miles per gallon, and I get I get 8, 9, 10 miles a gallon. I think when we're empty on flat ground, I think I've seen us average about 11. That's pretty good. Overall, in fact, I'll tell you right now. Our miles per gallon, average miles per gallon since we've had this truck, that means every mountain and hill, the times we were empty, the times we were fully loaded, the average miles per gallon since I've had this truck is sitting at 8.4. That's not bad. That's nothing to sneeze at. No, there's no more truck washes around here. I would have gone to Blue Beacon if they had one of those. How often do you get the truck serviced, oiled, and all this other stuff? Every 50,000 miles, and in fact, we're coming up on our 200,000 mile fuel filter change and oil change and all of that stuff. So when we get to Utah, we'll probably have to pull into the shop and get all that stuff taken care of. How much trouble will I get in for being late? No trouble. It's a preloaded trailer and it's waiting on us. The customer did call because they want to load this trailer, but I'm just a couple miles from them and I can't do anything about it. I'm stuck in this washout line. So, no trouble. Music Master just got his CDL. Well, congratulations. Don't worry about what you get paid per mile. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about what anybody else says. You do your own thing. You must enjoy the drive. You must enjoy doing what you're doing. And it doesn't matter what job. You could be a doctor. You could be a lawyer. You could be a housewife or whatever. You must enjoy what you're doing. It's your life. You need to live and do whatever job makes you happy. I mean, that's all there is to it. Money does not make the world go round. No, let me take that back. Money makes the world go round, but money doesn't make you happy. What's the point of making 100,000, 150,000, or being a millionaire if you're unhappy? Flat out. I'd rather make less money and be happy doing what I enjoy doing, rather than getting paid and having all the money in the world and you're unhappy. It just does. It's not a good deal. Money is not the answer to all things. In fact, money just creates greed and problems and issues and stress and taxes and the whole 9 yards. It ain't worth it to me. Now, if you can have a big mansion and you can afford it and you're happy with that, great. But I like to live very minimal stuff. Everything I own is in the truck. And of course it's got insurance on it if anything should happen to it. Money ain't the answer. You got to be happy. And Music Master, the other piece of advice I have for you. You drive your truck the way you know is safest and the best and whatever. You do your own thing. You will have other truck drivers that call you every name in a book because they think they could do, they think they could drive your truck better than you. So what? Who cares? They drive their truck, you drive your truck. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. You're the captain of your truck, period. I don't care if another truck driver thinks I'm worthless because of the name on the side of the trailer. I don't care if another driver thinks they could back up better than me or drive faster than me or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Who cares? They drive their truck. You drive your truck. And trust me, you're going to have a bunch of people constantly think they could do everything better than you. Even the website. I get a ton of emails that people tell me I should do this, I should do that with the website. They could run a website better, blah, 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 and a million things. But I don't see very many people doing exactly what I do. We run the biggest trucking website in the world as far as broadcasting, all that other stuff. We broadcast live more of the open highway than any other truck driver does. And yet, so many people tell me how they can do it better. More power to them. Get out and do it. But I don't see that happening. Find your own niche in the world. Find what you're good at and do it to the best of your ability. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Do your own thing. That's my philosophy for the day, I guess. There's only one of you. Be the best you can be. Oh, this is so stupid. Why are we not moving anywhere? You're very welcome, Music Master. And, you know, talking about people copying. Over the years, I've had people try to copy my website. And they just can't do it. Yeah, they can copy my code and the whole 9 yards, but you know, it's more than that. There's a lot of daily upkeep between equipment and codes and whatever else. You don't need to copy anybody. You need to be your own individual. The copy is never as good as the original. Period. You know that. There you go. Trailer will be washed for free. To each his own. Whatever works best for you. I thoroughly enjoy trucking. It works great for me. Some people don't belong in a truck. Trust me. I'm sure you've seen a few of them as well. Good idea. Let's go out and see what the heck's going on here. Oh, me. Well, the guy ahead of us has been there an hour, so I don't know how long have we been here. We've been here an hour. An hour. They have 2 people working in this washout. So they're almost done with the truck in the bay. The guy in front of us is getting a partial trailer washout, and then we'll be next. So hopefully it won't take that long. But it is what it is. Y'all like my little dance? Can I explain the 70, 14, and 11? You cannot drive more than 70 hours in 8 calendar days. Or 8 days in a row. ZZ Top. Yeah, I'm starting to look a little raggy. 14 hours. You cannot drive past your 14-hour clock. Your 14-hour clock starts when you come on duty and do your inspection in the morning. So you can drive, you can sit, you could load, you could eat lunch, you could do whatever you want. But when you reach your 14 hours from when you first start, you cannot drive. Your 11-hour clock, you cannot drive more than 11 hours in a day before you take your 10-hour break. So you could drive 11 hours and then sit in a dock for 3 hours. That's your 14 hours. Once you get out of that dock, you cannot drive because you already drove your 11 and you're already at your 14. So that's it in a nutshell. I am starting to look a little on the shaggy side. What happens if that 14-hour clock and you're still driving, then you get a violation and you get your hand slapped and you start to get into some problems. If a DOT catches you, you will pay a fine for violating hours of service. If you get into an accident, it literally automatically becomes your fault 100%. Even if a drunk driver smacked head on into you, the law looks at it as you are violating the law, driving past your allotted time, and the truck driver is at fault. How often is your logbook inspected? We are on electronic logs, and they generally don't look, but if you do get stopped, they do look. A lot of times they just want me to pull up how many hours I have left for the day and how many hours I have left for the week or whatever to prove that I'm not in violation, and they're happy. So it's not very often. You know, I think I'm going to grab a peach. Oh my goodness. Do I wish I could drive more? No. Driving 11 hours a day to me is plenty. Driving 14 hours or working 14 hours a day is plenty. What kind of nut job wants to work more than 14 hours? Seriously. If you're that gung-ho for making money, then you're letting money rule your life. No. 11 hours, 14 hours, 70 hours in a week. Remember, We just got done hitting our 70-hour clock 3 weeks in a row. Remember that? That's plenty. That's almost 2 full-time jobs in a week. Ain't no way I'm interested in working more. That's... If you want to, that's more power to you, but I don't want that dang much money. I'd rather have my sanity and some relaxing time to go hiking and exploring and living life. There is more to life than work, or money, or both. I didn't know this would be a 3-day wait. Oops. Cut a piece of peach and it dropped in my lap. Here, y'all can watch this. Well, like I said, the trailer's already waiting on us. It'll be a quick pull in, swap trailers, head back out. Jared's been watching 3 weeks. Well, we've been broadcasting coming up for 10 years now. So you got some catching up to do. Once you start for your 14-hour clock, you cannot stop it. If you get sick or tired, well, if you take a nap or whatever the case may be, the only way to restart your 14-hour clock is to shut down for 10. The only exception to that is if you shut down for 8 hours, it suspends your 14-hour clock. And you can only finish driving whatever hours you have. So say you drove 8 hours and then you take a nap for 8 hours. Okay? That's called a split sleeper berth. At that point, you're at 16 hours. So legally, you know, under normal circumstances, you couldn't drive. But if you take a 8-hour split sleeper rule and you stay put in your sleeper for 8 hours, that suspends your 14-hour clock. So at the end of that 8-hour split sleeper, even though you're at 16 hours, you can then drive out your remaining 3 hours. And then you have to shut down. And we've done that sometimes. I don't like to, but yes, you can. But then, once you reach that, you have to shut down for 2 more hours because you owed, you know, you have to take a total of 10. You used 8. Now it's time for you to pay back the other 2. That gets a little confusing when you do that multiple times in a row, but sometimes you need to. JBG. I don't know who JBG is. I think he's another truck driver. I don't know. You know, it's funny. I get asked questions about, do I watch other truck drivers' videos? No, I don't. After doing my own thing for 8, 10, 12 hours a day or whatever, last thing I want to do is sit there and watch somebody else drive. To be honest with you. Yep. Spark's asking, sometimes I stop early to find a place to park. That's correct. Your 14-hour clock or your 11-hour clock or whatever doesn't give a dang if you could find parking or not. So, yes, at times you need to park early if there's no, you know, if there isn't a closer truck stop or whatever. You need to make sure you're shut down before any of your clocks run out. Because, you know, you bust your hours and it doesn't matter. The truck computer don't care if there's a parking space or not. It's up to you to get yourself parked, even if it is a little early. Yep, I left the GPS on for y'all to follow me down to St. Genevieve. I do that once in a while. We only have 6 people in chat. Where's everybody else? No moderators? Everybody's out enjoying their Saturday? How many people we got? We got... Where'd it go? 127 people watching this line. Have I ever come close to being in an accident? Sure. Not my fault, but people do run red lights. People do cut in front of you. One lady was in the right-hand lane. I was in the left-hand lane going through a small town. The lady in the right-hand lane decided she wanted to turn left, and she cut directly in front of me. I almost T-boned her. There's been multiple times where if I wasn't paying absolute attention, I would have run over them. I think I'll eat my strawberries. Strawberries are good. Fresh strawberries. What do you do if you can't find a parking spot? Well, that's why you have to plan and make sure you get a spot. Sometimes things don't work out, and You might have to park in a Walmart or something like that. I don't like to, but there have been quote-unquote emergencies where you have to. That happens, that's life. And yes, we have had to run a little bit past our clock, and yes, you do get a violation. And then at that point, you only hope that you don't get into an accident and nobody looks at your looks at your hours of service. Some things you can't control, like road closures and massive traffic jams and whatever. You do the best you can. It ain't perfect. You do the best you can and let the chips fall where they do. You know, I'm getting tired of waiting in this line. You know, if I had milk, I could make cereal and throw my strawberries in my cereal. What's the reality between company driver and owner operator? Well, ouch. I talked about that I don't know, half hour ago. I'd rewind the tape and listen to it because I talked quite a bit about it. Are DOT officers mean at inspections? No, not that I've seen. You treat them with respect that they deserve, both as an authority and as a person, and you get treated well back. Do you find buttheads? Sure. You find buttheads in all walks of life, no matter what. But you treat them decent, they treat you decent. I've never had a problem with any of them. Now, if you show up with an attitude, yeah, they're going to give you an attitude right back. But you treat them with respect, they'll give it to you back. They're not out to give you a hard time. Okay, sure, you might get a weirdo that wants to prove himself or whatever, but if you treat them with respect and you don't give them a reason to exercise their authority, then you shouldn't have a problem. And if it worse comes to worse and they do want to be a grouch bucket, let them. But, you know, to get into a fight or a tug of war or whatever, you can't have a one-sided tug of war. And if you're nice to them and respect them and all of that stuff, you're not giving them any ammunition. But if you go in there with an attitude and all huffy-puffy because they pulled you over and want to see your books, they're legally allowed to anytime. Let them do their job. If you have nothing to hide, if you're not doing anything wrong, you're not giving them any ammunition. So what's the heartache? What's the big problem? So are they mean? No. In fact, I've had quite a few, or all of them, pretty dang nice. And one of them, been years ago, but one of them actually pulled me into the weigh station in Wyoming, pulled me over, and as I was getting my permit books and everything, he actually knocked on the door and said, "Hey, BigRigSteve, I watch you all the time." In fact, I know of 2 DOT officers in Wyoming that watch me. And, I don't know, last week or whatever, there was a guy in chat that mentioned he's been a deputy officer for 25 years. And he feels I am a very safe driver. So, yeah, law enforcement do watch the website. Obviously, when I've been pulled over for inspections, they see the cameras. But they see I'm not touching them, you know, and all that stuff, so nobody has a problem with it. Well, eventually they're going to have to move these trailers before they close. This is just like absolutely retarded. Morning, Spook. Y'all see on the blog where our camera at the eclipse and my buddy's homemade binoculars? Greetings from Sweden. Well, howdy. Greetings from Green Bay, Wisconsin at the truck wash line, where we've been for like 6 hours now, I think. A Drift 2003. It looks like you got an abdominal snowman. Oh, this is so stupid. If I didn't have to have a receipt, I would sweep it out. But they want a receipt. Will I still be out west for my next trip, or be back in the plains or the east? Well, I never know where I'm going, but you know that we're going out to Utah. That's as far as I know right now. Where we go just depends on where freight takes us. We're free like the wind. We got the whole 48 states that we could do. South Africa. That's a long ways. How you doing? Well, I've eaten a peach and I've eaten strawberries. What else can I eat? Oh, this is just no one probably don't care. Some people choose to run their business like garbage, and others actually care. But then also I found out that a lot of people are having trouble hiring people because they don't want to work for minimum wage or whatever. Strawberry and peach money. Well, thank you very much, Mason. I appreciate that, and that'll go directly toward my strawberry and peach account. How about that? Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Any trucking company is good or bad? Well, we talked about that a half hour ago. Mentioned how to find the best trucking company for you. Every company has good points and bad points, good drivers and bad drivers. I really don't like mentioning trucking company names. I don't know, it's just not my place to say. I don't like hearsay. I don't like judging based upon what other drivers on the internet say about a company or whatever. I speak only from my own experience. So, Jason, what I would do is run out and actually talk to the truck drivers. Go to your local truck stop, hang out, talk to them in a fuel island. Ask them what they like and don't like about their companies. Oh, this is so silly. You know, I could, I could have washed out that truck faster by myself. How do I write the title of the stream without touching it? Well, the moderators write that for me. Or in the case that they're not around, sometimes I write it before I move. But I never write it while I'm driving. So the moderators will get in there and do it, or I'll do it if I'm still parked. Hour and 36 minutes. This is just absolutely stupid. It really is. I got a line behind me, so I can't back out. Make the best of it. I would not have picked this place if there was something else, because they do have bad reviews. But still, luckily the guy ahead of us is only getting a rinse out, so he shouldn't be long. Oh, what else can I eat? Ow! 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 So, favorite trucker, woohoo! The trash while I'm there another truck wash nearby? No, there's not. You know, the ribs just the ribs just might get done before we get done. Criminy. This is like the dumbest thing in the world. Here, y'all can watch this. No. I am breaking apart my cauliflower. Sit here and eat cauliflower in the trailer washout lane. Yes, there actually are a lot of the bigger truck stops have church services on Sunday. Howdy, Wolfie. Do I get UA? I have no idea what UA is. Is it too early to take our 30-minute break? We've been here an hour and 45 minutes. We've taken 3 half-hour breaks. You know, think about the guy who's in the wash bay now. 2 hours to wash his truck. That's retarded. But, you know, I broadcast what a truck driver goes through. And this is one of those less than desirable times. You guys wanted a live broadcast of what a truck driver does day by day, mile by mile, hour by hour. This is it. It ain't all glamorous. Yes, they do have random drug tests. Can happen at any time. For any reason. Amen, Leon. I agree. If I didn't have to do this, the shipper requires a receipt, so just sweeping it out myself won't count. I think the truck is starting to grow roots here. There is no other one around here. If you look in the trucker path mobile app, you'll see where the truck washes are, and there ain't nothing around. I'm about to get on a dang Segway and ride around circles. You know what I can do? Dig in the cooler and get out my pineapple guacamole and eat some chips. I'm gonna get fat here just sitting here with you. Anything fun happened during my off time? Did 8 loads of laundry. Yep, I got peaches. I got a pile of peaches. And plums. TK. See, if TK was in a truck, we could put on a show for you. Sure wish I knew why my guacamole turns brown after one day. Are the peaches as soft as yesterday? They're hard. I like hard peaches. Maybe I should go walk and get coffee. Because you know, as soon as I do, they'll move up. Why did I go to Quick Trip instead of Love's? I don't know. Quick Trip has a lot more food selection. Just something out of the normal. I like Quick Trip. I don't know. I don't know, Scan. Apparently, there's 2 people in this whole truck wash, and they don't have any desire to actually work, I guess. Well, TK used to be my mascot. I don't have a mascot now. You're not mad? Well, that's good. Wouldn't want a road crew mad because of what truck stop I say that. You know, we've been waiting in this line longer than it took us to drive up here. Yep, a lot of truck washers do advertise on billboards. You know, y'all can go to Google Maps and find the location where I'm at, the Citgo truck stop, find the trailer washout here. You can go to Maps, click on that, and give it a review of 1 star. Tell them you had to wait in line, which literally is true. And it took you forever. Maybe if enough of us complain, somebody will think about it, but maybe not. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. Alright, I just posted my review. Thanks. A road crew actually made that BRT logo for me. Alright, I left my review. Y'all gonna leave your review? You know, even if they washed the dang truck with a toothbrush, it would be faster than this. I don't know what's wrong with Snowman. Snowman seems to be working it just fine. Yes, JK Truck Wash. Let's heat a plum. You know, at this rate, I'm going to end up eating everything in my cooler before we get the trailer washed out. So what's wrong with Snowman? You know, I'm curious to see exactly how long these people are going to take. This is retarded. We have been waiting 2 hours, 5 minutes. Surely this ain't how they do business on a daily basis. You should see the line behind me. At this rate, the line behind me will never get their trailer washed before they're closed. Now, I've waited in trailer washout lines for like 2 hours and all that stuff before, but we at least moved and there was a long line. There's no reason for this. I don't know when I left this morning. No, these 2 hours are sleeper berth. Because we're not driving, we're not working, we're sitting. So this would be counted as sleeper. The line behind us is long. The bullfrog song. And Jemima was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. Together we waited in line at the trailer washout place. Or watching the grass grow. So you guys want to know what a truck driver goes through? This is it. You know, if they wash one truck every 2 hours, how does this place even make money? Well, guess what? The bay in front of us is now empty. Or that truck just disintegrated sitting there, one of the two. So maybe we will actually move here in a minute. Oh, hey, movement. Where did I go? I'm still here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Now, I already talked to this guy, and he said he wasn't getting but a short trailer washout.
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
Yes, that trailer is half loaded. I talked to that driver. That driver had 2 shippers. The first one loaded the trailer just fine. The second shipper turned him away, said the trailer was dirty. So that's why he's getting it washed out. The second shipper refused to load. That's how picky some shippers can be. And I hear music. Can y'all hear that music?
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
Now when we pull in the bay, I'm going to cut the broadcast because we're literally just a few miles from delivery. From the shipper. So when we move in, I'll cut the broadcast. We'll do a trailer swap. And then go. I can report them as far as leaving them a review, but that's it. Y'all are welcome to leave a review as well. But other than that, what am I going to do? Obviously, the owner don't care. So, looks like we're going to be going in next. Sorry this took forever, out of my control, but it was good to talk to you guys. We'll stop the broadcast here in a minute. Let y'all go get lunch and whatever. And then as soon as we get done with our trailer swap, we'll hit the road again.
Home. Messaging. Asking for route. Drive to route line ahead, or reroute from current location.
Yeah.